Hi, my name is Fiona from Tavua, and I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, FCCC investigation identifies cheating tenants, multi-million-dollar drug bust in Kandavu, and real estate sector attracts overseas investors.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
It's been revealed that Fijians unaffected by COVID-19 are taking advantage of the pandemic to claim they can't afford to pay rent. The Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission has come across cases where individuals who've not felt any financial fallout are lying about having been made redundant, sent on leave without pay or working reduced hours. Kelly Vathala reports that upon investigating, the FCCC found these claims were false.
The FCCC has discovered that some tenants have taken advantage of the current situation to get the rent holidays.
There are some tenants who have become quite creative as well. The instances where there's slight reduced hours and two people were working in the household and they said, look, we can't pay any rent. Upon further investigation, we found that they had the ability to pay the rent.
Abraham says they're now carefully scrutinizing each case to determine the authenticity of the complaints.
There was one lady that called me up from Nindi. She said, I'm under a lot of stress and I'm under a lot of, I can't do anything. There's no food at home. My husband's a carpenter and we don't have anything to eat and we can't pay our rent. I start asking the same basic questions. How many people in your household? What were you doing before COVID hit? It turns out she's got two children who are currently in employment.
The Fiji Commerce and Employees Federation has suggested that tenants should provide proof of their employment status when asking for rent holidays.
If you have your evidence, that backs up your talk and you negotiate with your landlord. If you don't have any evidence to provide your landlord, then that's a different story.
The FCCC says landlords and tenants have a contract agreement between them, and if tenants aren't able to afford rent, they should engage in social dialogue to reach a new agreement. Kelly Vathala, FBC News.
More than $12 million worth of illicit drugs has been seized during a raid in Kandavu. A special operations team from the police force uprooted more than 4,000 plants, weighing over 200 kilograms believed to be marijuana, from a farm in Ngasele village. Police Commissioner Brigadier General Sitiveni Gilio acknowledged the support from the public that has led to successful raids on the island. The Commissioner has assured that all information received from the public will be kept confidential. While the COVID-19 pandemic has led to a slowdown in the local real estate sector, it has, however, created new opportunities for foreign investors to enter the domestic market. The Real Estate Agents Association has seen an increase in interest from investors abroad, and as a result, two high-end deals worth $10 million were sealed in Nandi. Pranita Prakash reports the deal includes one commercial and one residential property.
The Real Estate Association believes the sector would thrive once border reopens.
When we look at our websites, we have about 100 to 150% increase in the visits by the overseas investors. It is some indication that they are interested in Fiji. And when the borders are open and we have a flow of people coming back and forth from Fiji, we expect an increase in business from overseas investors.
Association President Anand Gaunduru says the effects of the pandemic has affected the sales of rental and high-end properties.
We have seen a slight increase in property sales on the lower end, which is between $100,000 to $400,000 properties. But on the rental market, we have excessive inventory now, and the rents have dropped significantly.
The people who were investing on high price properties, they are not doing that, or there are very limited activities on higher valued properties.
The association says while agents are reporting losses ranging from 20 to 90%, they have not laid off any staff. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Businesses registered with the Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation have welcomed the Fiji National Provident Fund's decision to reduce the employers' contribution by 5% until year end. The decision by the Ministry of Economy will guarantee a return of an estimated $130 million in the employers' accounts. Josina Nunga reports the step was taken to cushion the impacts caused by COVID-19 on businesses.
The Employers Federation believes the strategy is an effective tool to enable businesses to sustain their operations and cash flow.
Because that's allowed them to save some cash, to be able to use that cash in other areas like keeping the employees employed without having to release them. So that 5% is a great injection to the employers, to our members.
A recent survey by the Federation shows that over 90% of enterprises are benefiting from the government's stimulus COVID-19 package, particularly with the reduction of fiscal and export excise duty.
Some of the responses we got from the survey as well is the 300% tax deduction for employees who pay their employees who self-quarantine under the directive of the Ministry of Health. That was one of the positive responses from our members. VAT exemption on certain items, and also some businesses are grateful for export income deduction increase to 60% for 2020, 2021 and 2022.
The FNPF has also approved an additional employees relief package, which consists of a waiver of penalties, time payment arrangements, relaxation of third-party payments, and reduction on requirements for departure prohibition orders. Josina Nunga, FBC News.
Coming up, online business boosts career services, and baristas welcome Fiji's new coffee culture. Stay with us.
Radio Fiji One, Nandomo Iviti.
One of the leading courier companies believes while the COVID-19 pandemic has threatened the traditional way of doing business, there is a surge in online business, a blessing for them. The DHL Express Fiji country manager says small and medium businesses are thriving in the digital space. Pranita Prakash reports.
As businesses reel with the effects of coronavirus, DHL Express Fiji says the role of courier services has become more crucial than before.
What's really pleasing is what we have seen in the industry is a move from the traditional business-to-business type product, where you're selling your products here in Fiji to a wholesaler in Australia, to a more of a business-to-consumer model, where we're seeing a lot of Fijian businesses, SMEs especially, starting up online businesses and selling direct to consumer.
We also see the hike into the EMS services as well, because EMS is the courier company of the Post Fiji, which is efficiently delivering the parcels and envelopes and other things within the Fiji, and that is a good sign of the EMS growing up as well.
Komin says this is one of the fast-growing sectors.
Some businesses here in Fiji have actually grown during COVID-19. They're actually increasing their volumes, because if you can think around the world, especially the Western world, with everyone locked at home and people working from home, they're ordering online and having it delivered to their door by courier companies like DHL. That product is increasing, which is great for Fiji and Fiji manufacturers.
Komin is encouraging SMEs who are selling their products in Fiji to expand their goals and enter the e-commerce market. DHL has retained all its staff despite the effects of the pandemic. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Tourism operators are reaping the benefits of the Love Your Locals campaign as more Fijians are taking holidays locally. One such operator is Robinson Crusoe that has seen an increase in bookings. 3 weekends in a row, the cruise to Likuri Island has seen at least 75 local bookings, a positive sign for the business. Felipe Nakasa was on the cruise and files this report.
A 35-minute boat cruise from Natandola to Likuri Island is what the Robinson Crusoe is offering, as they aim to attract locals and get the business up and running again.
I think we all have to diversify in these tough times and, you know, be creative and you know, come up with ideas that will attract the locals to your property.
The resort says the campaign has helped them put at least 15 staff on rotational shifts.
So we're now into our third weekend and enjoying fabulous numbers for our day cruise and full house every weekend in the resort. So it's been working really well.
For the locals, supporting hotels and resorts during this pandemic is vital.
It's good that we have this local rates so we can get a taste of what it feels like to be in our own home. I mean in Fiji. We get to have a taste of what the tourists have been experiencing so far. We saw about this Likuri Island local specials on the Facebook, the social media, and it was basically a good price, so we decided to come down here for this weekend.
Quite honestly, everybody's definitely looking for a package that gives true value for money, not with hidden extra costs that come up and bite you later on. So the transparency of the deals from the resorts is really important.
The resort has a total of 60 staff, and when guests are on the island, strict protocols are observed to follow the COVID-19 restrictions. Philippe Naikaso, FBC News.
Fiji's coffee culture is brewing a storm, putting pressure on baristas to maintain standards according to the preference of their customers. With more coffee shops opening in the capital city, the baristas are in constant competition to keep the coffee addicts satisfied. Venina Rakautonga spoke with the head barista at a local hotspot about her daily experience.
Giving the best caffeine dose to the customers to kickstart their day comes with skills and passion.
Here in Fiji, it is quite a big deal having your coffee, having your first coffee in the morning. With the mobile service station, I'm based there most of the time. So I'm still on my way to work and they're calling me on my phone. We haven't opened up yet. They need their coffee. It's like a drug.
With about 7 years of experience in the coffee industry, Mataki is now sharing her knowledge with young aspiring baristas.
Basically from customer service skills to doing drinks, cold drinks, hot drinks. It's the basics of making coffees. It'll take them like a month, but they won't be perfect.
Weta Coffee co-owner Mue Fisher believes the coffee culture in Fiji has developed over the years and people are now always on the lookout for the best brew.
I think it's a good time to get into a business such as this where the customer is starting to prioritize that purchase as an important part of starting their day or an important part of their meeting, friends or colleagues for something outside of the office.
With a spike in coffee demand, many aspiring youths are hoping to harness their coffee brewing skills that will later help them start their business. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
Venturing into different work fields is important because if one door closes, you can open another to continue making a living. This was the mantra used by renowned Fijian musician Seru Serevi, who says despite the effects of COVID-19 on the music industry, he is still able to support his family. Serevi ventured into poultry and tilapia fish farming for 10 years. Josaina Nunga with tonight's success story.
Raised in a humble setting, the 68-year-old Nakorbo Rewa native committed to his talent that was recognized way back in high school days.
Even when I was a civil servant, I was doing 6 nights a week, taking gigs at dance hall and hotels, holiday and travel lodge at the time. And the music got the better of me, and I left civil servant and become a full-time musician.
A little walk down memory lane, Serevi has seen soar to greater heights as the music composed by him is a hit among fans.
I was singing in Fijian, and we were, and the spectators, the audience was louder than us singing Fijian song, not even understanding what they sing. I thought back of the nights I spent alone trying to compose a song. And when people in Papua New Guinea were singing it back to me, I was really emotional.
Being a board member of the Fiji Performing Rights Association, Serevi usually motivates his fellow artists to venture into other opportunities rather than clinging onto their talents.
Now with all the hotels and nightclubs and restaurants closed, we are one of the worst affected and one of the first too. So my advice have always been to other musicians is the importance of doing other things, diversifying instead of just putting your eggs in one basket and just relying on your music alone.
The father of four says his farming business injects over $200 weekly to their family's livelihood.
If I could sell 7 or 8 a week, that really helps. And I have a property in Suva that's on rent too, that's helping with our daily life now that we are out of work.
Serevi now has plans to expand his farming business, as he says the future of the music industry still looks uncertain due to the impacts of COVID-19. Serevi and his group usually entertain tourists at hotels and resorts, but the tourism industry has grinded to a halt. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
And warm-up match reveals a lack of fitness. This and more after the break.
हम शायर प्रकाश बात करता है अक्तावा में मिर्ची एफएम सबकन से एंड मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट
Fijian international Apisai Koroisau assisted the Panthers in their 1912 win in a fast and furious encounter against the West Tigers last night. Koroisau's long-range break led to fullback Dylan Edwards' match-winning try against the Tigers at the Bankwest Stadium in Australia. Fiji-born Sevu Reece provided an electric performance in Crusaders' win over the Highlanders in New Zealand last night. The Crusaders prevailed 40-20 against the Highlanders to cement their position on top of the Super Rugby Aotearoa ladder. Meanwhile, the Hurricanes edged the Chiefs 25-18 at the FMG Stadium in New Zealand late this afternoon. The current players of the Fiji Airways national men's team will be given the first opportunity to prove themselves for a spot in the Olympic team.
The contracts were due to culminate after the Olympics, which was the right thing to do. And now as a rugby union, we're looking at extending those through to after the Olympics next season. And as I said previously, the boys that are in those positions at the moment had that first opportunity. That's the way it happens.
The disruption of sporting events due to coronavirus has taken a toll on the fitness of players. This was evident in a warm-up match between Suva and Nandi football teams at the Korovuto grounds today. Karatavi reports the capital side lost 3-2 against the Green Machines.
Being out of action for more than 3 months has affected many of these players.
Most of us are working. Most of us are in the police force. Some are doing their own training at home. But all in all, after looking at the game today, we have so much to work on, because this virus has brought us, we were in one level and it has brought us down to another level.
Today's match was a build-up to the Vodafone Premier League that kicks off this week. Nandi coach Kamal Swami says they're also facing a lot of challenges.
We need match fitness, which is very important. That's why we had this friendly match, and I think I have to thank Suva to come down here and have a match with us. But overall, I think we have lost the ball in the midfield, which we'll be working on to keep possession.
Suva will play its first match in the Vodafone Premier League against Rewa on July 18th at the Suva's ANZ Stadium, while Nandi take on Ba at Prince Charles Park on July 22nd. Karleni Tavi, FBC Sports.
There will be no competitions by the Fiji Swimming Association until further notice. However, the association has given the green light to various clubs to hold their training sessions at the sporting centres. Once competition resumes, Fiji Swimming will host separate events, one for the south and one in the west for the remainder of the 2020 season. President Ben Rova says they still have to meet some restrictions concerning COVID-19.
The various sports clubs are already open now with their pools. Some clubs have started their training again.
So at the moment, it's going to be just restricted to club training until we can get a little bit more clarity before we start running any competitions.
In weather, mainly fine conditions prevailed over most parts of the country. A quick look at the weather map. Looking at the west, beautiful conditions with sun and cool breeze was the order of the day. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, mostly sunny during the day with clouds taking over by late afternoon. And up north, cloudy periods with brief showers. At sea, it was east to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, rough seas, moderate southerly swells. And turning to the tides, low tide is at 12:50 tomorrow morning with high tide at 7 a.m. Sunrise is at 6:39. Now for tomorrow, expect cloudy periods with brief showers over the eastern and interior parts of the larger islands, mainly fine weather elsewhere. Tomorrow's temperatures will range between 29 and 30 degrees. And further outlook, we're looking ahead to Tuesday. Generally fine and cool conditions to continue. And recapping the main stories for tonight, FCCC investigation identifies cheating tenants, multi-million-dollar drug bust in Kandavu, and real estate sector tracks overseas investors. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question for this week, we are asking, should the COVID-19 curfew be kept until the end of the year? Visit our FBC website to answer. And remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News and our Twitter page at FBC_news or hashtag FBC News. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, from the team and I, we're wishing you all a blessed new week ahead. Bye for now.
My name is Enrico. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks in Suva.
Today's hit music on Today FM.